Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about petite travel watercolor sets. I'm obsessed with little tiny watercolor sets and travel watercolor sets in general. I don't know why. I just find them so cute and adorable. And they make the painting experience so much nicer. Just liking your materials and using materials that you just enjoy touching and looking at, and it's just so rewarding for me. So I've accumulated quite a bit of a collection of small watercolor palettes and small watercolor sets, and not so small ones too. So I wanted to show you some of them today. Some of these I've made myself, and some of them I've purchased. Some of them I've purchased and modified. So I'll show you what I have here. So let's get these out of the way and go like in some sort of order. So I'm gonna go through the first ones, the ones that I purchased. So these are your typical travel palettes that you can purchase in any store, like most art stores that, have 12 pans and, the basic 12 colors. This is a Lucas Aquarelle Studio watercolor set. I bought this at jerrysartorama.com. I can put a link in the description below. And this set looks very similar to the Cotman basic like 12 pan watercolor set that they sell in most art stores, and I think a lot of people have that. This one, I don't have the Cotman, to be honest. I just never been attracted to Cotman watercolors because of reviews that I've seen. It just doesn't seem like they're that vibrant and pigmented, so I never actually purchased them. And I've tried other types of student grade watercolors, including scholastic grade, which you'll see a lot of my reviews are scholastic grade watercolors because they're great for practicing and learning. And I have some student grade ones and some more professional ones. So this is student grade one. This is a color chart that I made. So it has your typical colors, two yellows, the earth tones, a few reds, a couple of blues, a green, a couple of greens, and a Payne's gray. So it's a good set. I'm particularly don't love the plastic. It beats up a little bit when you do mixing. Oh, and the pens come off, so that's kind of annoying. So as you can see, they're in there, like you have to just push them in there, and they stay in there by like pressure. So you have to like really put them in there, but certain ones just don't want to stay. So that's annoying. I don't love that system. You can also take the pans off and just fill these wells, but then you don't have the flexibility of moving your paints around, which I like sometimes. So that's that. This is a little, area to put a paintbrush, but it's so small that no paintbrush that I would ever use fits in here. So I just use it to put a tiny little mechanical pencil. So that's nice. It's not terrible. It's kind of bulky for my taste for traveling. And there's the metal ones. These are, you see these everywhere. All kinds of brands have them. In particular, there's a Prima Watercolor Set that I bought at Amazon. I actually bought two sets. I bought the Tropicals and the Decadent Pies, and I combined both sets into one because this tray that it comes in, it's just very heavy, and having two sets was heavy to travel around, and it was just not convenient to have two sets to get all the colors that I needed. So I actually did a modification, and I took out, I don't remember how I did it, to be honest. It's been a while, but I took out some of the metal things that are here, I think. Oh no, actually I didn't. I left them in there. I think you can there's a groove here to put brushes, and I just used that groove to put more pans. That's what I did. I have other sets that I modified by like literally removing the metal clips, but not this one. So this one, I didn't really have to modify too much. I just added a row of paints where the paint brushes are supposed to go. And it works very well. You can fit a lot of pans. There's, I think, there's 7 pans per row. So there's 21 pans in here. So it's pretty good. It's 21 colors in a quite small space. And this is a golf pencil. So I just love finding little pencils and little brushes and things that fit in here. So I have my little pencil there. And I just use water brushes when I travel. You know, the Pentel kind. So these are okay, but I do find them a little bit bulky. Then I have this one, which is slightly smaller. This is more of Altoids tin looking like kit. And this, I actually got it for free at Jerry's when I bought something. I think I bought White Knight's watercolor set, like the big palette, and which I actually want to review and do an unboxing of because I haven't opened them yet. And I got this one for free. And the paints are not that great, but I mean, they're okay for practicing and stuff, but they're not that great. The tin is basically the size of a Altoids tin. The problem is that you can't really mix here because this is see-through. It's just not super great design. Maybe if you put some Yupo paper here for mixing, that might work. And also it's a lot of wasted space because there's a lot of empty space between the pans and under this plastic thing is, yeah. The brush is actually, it's very tiny, but it's really good for details and it holds a point. So that brush is not bad. And then I have bigger sets that I've purchased, which are like these types, like Van Gogh. This set is humongous. It has 18 pans and 2 tubes. It's really nice. These are excellent student grade paints, excellent paints. I really, really like them. But this set is so large, it's so heavy. I mean, look at this. This is 18 pans. This is 21 pans. And I can carry this in one palm like this, while this is just so big for 18 pans. The same, like less paint than this. It just makes no sense. So this one, I do love the paints, but the actual case, it's too bulky. So I use it at home. Mostly I don't travel with it. The mixing area is nice, it's big. But yeah, it's really bulky. Then I have another palette, which it's just your, basic watercolor palette. You'll find these palettes everywhere in every single art store. You can just open them up and you squeeze your 2 paints in here. So these are Turner Artist watercolor paints. And the palette is not bad. This palette I bought actually in a Japanese dollar store called Daiso when I went to Japan a couple of years ago. And I thought it was $1. The equivalent of a US dollar, I think is 100 yen or something like that. And I thought it was going to be really, bad quality, but it's actually excellent quality. The mixing area is just big and fabulous. It's easy to clean. Look how clean this is. I mean, I clean my palettes after I use them all. I like to keep my palettes really clean. I'm very OCD about that. So I love it when I can clean the palette and it's actually like back to their pristine white color. I just love that. And this plastic is great. It doesn't beat up and it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. So it's actually one of my favorite palettes. It is a little bigger. Obviously, surface area is very big. It is very thin though. So I can put it, with sketchbook and it's very flat. So it's very easy to travel with. So it's not bad at all. I actually really enjoy using this and I use it a lot. And the only thing is that it's not watertight, obviously. Well, most of these are not. So if the paint is wet and you flip it around, it will come out. But I mean, it's not bad. So then I have a few palettes that I've created myself and I'll go through them in order of size, I guess. So this one, so I've seen these palettes online that are called, I think it's the travel palette or something. They're like business card cases that have metal, tiny little wells that kind of look like a makeup case. So I got inspired by that. I had this makeup case. This is actually a Clinique eyeshadow case that I got and that I had used up, and I was gonna throw it out. And then I thought to myself, oh my God, these eyeshadow palette wells are perfect for watercolor paints. They're just perfect. So what I did was I cleaned it out. This was supposed to be a mirror. So this area is basically where the mirror is. And I cut some Yupo paper. And for those of you who don't know Yupo paper, it is a synthetic watercolor paper made out of plastic. So this paper is not made out of cotton or organic fibers. It's all plastic. And they've kind of texturized it so that you can paint on it. But the great thing about Yupa paper is that if you run it under water, the paint just falls right off. So you can paint on it and then wipe it off, kind of like a dry erase board. So they're great for mixing areas. So I use a lot of Yupa paper as mixing palettes, basically. I don't really paint on it because I've yet to master the art of painting on Yupo. It's kind of difficult, especially if you're used to cotton paper or regular paper. So this is great for mixing though. So I cut them up into little squares and then different sizes, and I put them inside my palettes to mix. So this makes a great mixing area. It doesn't beat up. It cleans pretty well. If it gets dirty and I can't clean anymore, I'll just cut a new piece of Yupo and replace it. And this is enough for 10 colors. So these are Daniel Smith watercolor paints. So this is basically the primary set of 6. It has a split primary palette, 2 yellows, 2 reds, 2 blues. And then what I did was I mixed some convenience colors just so I don't have to be mixing them on the go. So I mixed the warm yellow with the phthalo green, and I made like a green color. This is actually quinacridone gold, which is Daniel Smith, which I bought separately. This is burnt sienna from Winsor & Newton, which I bought separately. And this is a gray color that I made mixing ultramarine blue and burnt sienna just to have a gray already mixed. And I mixed it with a little toothpick. So that way I have all the colors that I need in my palette. And it is super cute. I actually painted this flower on Yupo paper. So this is how Yupo looks like when it's painted, and I put some packaging tape over it, and it just came out so cute. I love it, and it's so thin. It's very feminine, and I could put it in my purse. It's just great. I love it. And then I put some the sponge here. This is Mr. Clean Magic Eraser sponge, which I cut into size to fit right in this little space where the eyeshadow brush used to be. But now I use it to wipe my brush. And it's perfect. I love it, love it, love it. So this is one of my favorite ones. And I actually have this Muji. So Muji is a Japanese store that has all kinds of things. And they have a stationery section with a lot of little pen cases and cute little trinkets for crafty things. And this box, I actually love it because it fits my palette perfectly on top of my white Sakura gel pen, my Sharpie, my pencil, my travel brush, my black ink pen, and I can just shut it. I have everything that I need in there. I have this little compartment here where I have some washi tape, and I have this, which is kneaded eraser, and then this little container here, which is for paint, and they sell these in packs at most artist supply stores. I think I bought this at Michael's, and I can use this to put paint. Not paint, water. So I take a kneaded eraser, I put it in the back, I stick it to the surface wherever I'm painting, and I put a little water there, and I can use that as my water container, and it won't move around. So I love this little set. This is actually very nice, and I just grab it on the go. It fits in my bag. I have a little clip here for my sketchbook, and it's all in, contained, so it's perfect. So I've made other few sets. So we're going down in size as we talk. So I have, let me see, let's do this one first. So this is just a little bag of, I think chocolate, historic chocolate that I bought. And it fits perfectly an Altoids tin inside. So Altoids tin, as many of you know, are like the go-to travel palette for a lot of watercolor artists. You can fit a lot of pans in here. So you can just use the regular half pans. But in this case, I wanted to do a completely recyclable or recycled palette with all recycled materials. So I took this bag, which is from a different product that I bought, to use it as a travel kind of bag. And an Altoids tin where I ate the mints. And then this was inspired by a YouTube video that I saw. And I can't remember who the person was. I might have to look for it. And if I find it, I'll link it to the bottom. Where she went through the process of making this palette. So this was one of the first palettes that I made. And this is just a little color chart that I have for it. And it's a double layer palette. So it basically has, these are bottle caps, just like regular like water bottle caps, where I squeeze the paint in. And then I glued them to a little cardstock, which is basically, I think it was the cover of a magazine or a book or something that I was going to throw away. I put a little ribbon, and this ribbon was, if you can see it says Swarovski, because it was from a gift that I got. And I just put it in there, cut it to size, stuck the water bottle caps, and let it dry. And it's just a great little travel palette. The paint that I use for this, it's not very good quality. It's actually, I bought it at the Japanese dollar store where I bought the other palette. Just out of curiosity, because it was $1. And I did not like the quality of the paint. So I don't use it really. I just have it more as a cute little show and tell. Maybe I'll wash the paint off and I'll put actually good paint in here. But this is actually a really nice choice, very cheap. I mean, basically all recycled stuff that I was gonna throw away. So basically free. Then I have another palette that I made with a little case from the Muji store again. So this is another case from the same store that I bought this case. You can tell the stickers or the labels are the same. I love Muji. They just have so many cute things. So this is actually a case that's supposed to be used for like Q-tips, you know, cotton swabs and like other makeup related things. But it actually fits half pans perfectly. So it fits 10 half pans perfectly. It's like made for half pans. In terms of like height and width, it's just perfect. So what I did was I put 9 pans. And I left one space for my little sponge, my magic eraser sponge to wipe my brush. And I put some Yupo paper again. Oh my goodness, this doesn't want to stay. Yupo paper here for mixing. As you can tell, this is very dirty because I've used it a lot and the Yupo paper is kind of wearing out. You can only clean it so many times. So I've used it a lot. I travel on the subway sometimes. This is a little chart of the colors that are in here. And it is so small and compact. I just bring a water brush with it and a little tiny sketchbook. So this is my little pouch where I put my sketchbook, my watercolors, and my water brushes. So I can travel with this anywhere. I can put it in my purse, in my backpack. This is a Moleskin case, and I love Moleskin. This is a little Moleskin sketchbook, and when I'm in the subway, I paint people. So I can do a video on that separately because I know people might be interested in that. And yeah, it fits really well. So that's actually a really nice little palette. And then this is actually a case of earplugs, I think. It's an earplugs case. It says Max here. So it's just from the pharmacy, earplugs that I bought. And I'm putting here pans that are kind of loose pans that I don't have a home for. So I just have a bunch of pans here, but these could also be used as a watercolor palette. It has a very nice mixing area. If you put paper here, I mean, it's really nice size, so that could be used as well. And then we're gonna go smaller and smaller. So following the Altoids trend, the tiny little Altoids tins are definitely, I think, my favorite thing for watercolor palettes, like tiny little watercolor travel palettes. This one has a few things that I came up with. One is, well, this I saw on YouTube, that you can take 2 Altoids tins, you remove the lid from one of them, and you press it on the bottom of the tin, so you have kind of 2 lids, right? So the bottom lid doesn't have a hinge, obviously, because you took it out of the hinge, and you can put stuff in here. So in this case, I put a little, how do you call that? Like chart of the colors that I have. Sorry, I lost my words. And these are Turner watercolors, same watercolors that I have in this set, but they're just tinier and more travel friendly. And the actual inside cavity of the tin, this will be your mixing area, which is small, but actually, since I have the other lid, you can use this as another mixing area. So you have double the mixing area. And I wanted to see how many things I could fit in here. So I made this little tiny little pencil that fits perfectly inside the tin, just in case I want to sketch something quickly. And I wanted a brush to fit in here. So I came up with this. This is a brush. This is a Crayola brush, actually. A very cheap brush, so you can do this. I did it with a cheap brush just in case, because I didn't know if it was going to work. I cut the brush to fit, like the brush head and the ferrule, to fit the tin. Then I cut part of the handle to fit the tin as well. So then I have 2 parts. So, and I removed, this was like so long, and I removed the middle part basically. I don't know if you can see that. So like that. So this was like so long. I removed that part. I cut it with some like wire cutters, and then I sanded off so it would be smooth. Then I found this straw. So this straw is perfect size to fit the handle of this brush. So if you put the straw here, you can make up for that piece that you cut off, and you have a full-size brush to paint with. And it's actually very comfortable. And I'm very just excited about this discovery that I made, because I can just take it apart, put it in here, and I have a tiny, super compact watercolor set. All I need is water, and I'm good to go. So what I did here in terms of the paint wells, I had, how do you call that? It was these like probiotic capsules or something that came in these little blister packs. And blister packs, I mean, they come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. You can have like gum blister packs. This is Sucrets, the lozenges. They come in these type of packs. So all kinds of products that you buy come in blister packs. And I found these blister packs to be so interesting because they're so tiny, and they fit. I cut them actually to fit into this Altoids tin. And I put, again, my trusty little magic eraser sponge. And it fits perfectly. It doesn't move. Like, it's great. And then I put my little brush and my pencil, and I close it, and I'm ready to go. So that's really nice. Let me know if you want to see how to make that from scratch. I would be happy to make a video of that. And then the last but not least is this tiny little palette that I actually got this at Party City. Party City is a store where you buy party favors and other sorts of paraphernalia for like birthday parties or holidays or whatever. And they had an area to make piñatas. So, you know, piñatas are this like Mexican thing where you break, you know, the piñata and like presents fall out. And they had a selection of piñata favors. And in part of those favors, there was a tiny little watercolor palette that was, I think, 2 for $1 or $1 each or something. And the paint that came inside was really bad paint. It was just the worst paint I've ever tried in my life. It's actually popped out because this is like a plastic insert with like little wells. And I popped them out and I squeezed my own paint in here. 6 colors fit in here. And it came with a brush that was horrible. So I actually took a brush that's still bad, but it's less horrible. And I cut it to size, hoping that I could find a straw to fit in here to make it longer. But I haven't been able to find a straw that fits. But I'll leave that for a separate video. But if I find a straw. But this is really small. You can put Yuba paper here again to mix. To use it as a mixing area, or you can mix here if you have a piece of white paper underneath. So that's not bad. It does pop off though, so it's kind of annoying. You have to put tape on it. It's not very great quality. The Altoids tin, I would say it's my favorite in terms of just sturdiness and size. And my trusty little Muji case is the one I actually use the most. So that's it, guys. So that's kind of a little tour of all my tiny little watercolor palettes. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you're interested in seeing how I made some of these. I'll be glad to post a video on it. All right. Well, see you next time.